Some of the things that are also interesting about the way that we look at productivity in knowledge work and what's possible with AI now is that it's more possible to create environments of surveillance or worker surveillance where this has happened in a lot of different types of roles in labor over the years. For those of us in knowledge work, I think it's not something that we've seen directly that much. We more think about sort of a quote unquote boss who has to tell workers what to do because they're going to just lay about and do nothing if they're not forced to do work. That's not really the sort of the culture of work in most knowledge work organizations. Um, and some of it was probably a technical challenge. It was difficult to measure some of these interactions. And if we go back to that real measure of productivity, they may not even be the right things to measure. But now that there's so many more of these data points, trying to um, kind of encourage organizations and people to go through an evolution and a change of how they work and adopting AI, that being an incentive as well as sort of just the productivity outputs. And now having all of these different ways to measure activity, AI use, tool use, things like that. Um, that provides much more of an opportunity to have systems of surveillance and for technology companies to build that sort of data collection and tracking and aggregation into their tools. I think it's fair to say people generally don't like being surveilled and judged this way at work, especially if you're in a knowledge work role where it's not something like that frontline support engineer, but more like a creative writer or a thought leader or something like that, where ultimately doesn't really matter how you get to the ideas and the output that you create. It's the impact that they have. Um, so I think that can actually stifle creativity, and it's something that organizations should consider carefully. It's also something that I think can encourage workers to try and sabotage or game the system if they feel like they're being put in kind of an unjust situation, or if they're being blindly rewarded for a certain type of behavior, like we saw in token maxing. Um, there is some incentive there either to uh, try and hurt the system that you're in if you don't agree with it, or more selfishly just to game the system to use it in a way that's going to benefit you.